This is a little bargain basement cheapy sale haul that I did recently. Um, I thought I'd have a look at some of the after Christmas sales just to see what there was and if there was anything that I fancied trying. Um, so this particular haul is from a company in the UK website called Beauty Scent, like as in like scent perfume, and I just kind of fancied, some of these have been in my list for a little while, some of them I just fancied trying just to see. Now, these were all really bargainous, so if I just start, I'll just tell you now. The CK one, the little miniature, was £6.29. The little Amazing Grace Philosophy perfume, the Magnolia one, this just a little 15ml, that was £6.99. The Tank one was £7.90. Rihanna was £11.30, and Friction Night by FCUK was £10 and 8p. So all in all, a pretty bargainous little haul, I would say, considering that there's only one of these that I plan to get rid of. So I will start at the very beginning with an absolute old classic. Now, I didn't want to get a CK1, which is what this is right here, original lovely CK1. I didn't want to get this because I'm desperate to wear CK1. It's literally just because this was such a sort of staple in my youth. It came out in mid-90s, and it was the first of its kind. It was kind of the first unisex fragrance. It was the first kind of light and the first that I know of, light and gentle citrusy tea fragrance, because this came out even before Elizabeth Arden green tea. Now this is a really charming little bottle, as you can see. It's got the frosted kind of smooth glass, and the smell, oh, it really takes me back. There is a beautiful sharp bitterness, like kind of lemon peel about this, but it has that kind of lovely herbaceous kind of aromatic vibe that you get from tea, and there's a bit of fruitiness. It's so nostalgic for me, this perfume. I just really, really fancied having a little bottle of it, mainly to smell, not massively to wear. Although I probably will wear this at some point. So the notes here, the top notes are lemon, green notes, bergamot and pineapple, mandarin orange, cardamom and papaya. Middle notes, lily of the valley, jasmine, violet, nutmeg, orris root, rose and freesia. Base notes of green accord, musk, cedar, sandalwood, oak, moss, green tea and amber. So like I said, this is a 90s perfume, which means it has a billion notes in it. And yeah, I mean, it's not one that I've worn for such a long time. It's, I remember it not being I don't know. I mean, I think compared to some freshies today, this probably was quite strong, lasted longer than some of them. But I think it's definitely one that you could wear a lot of. And a lot of guys I knew wore this, and a couple of girls I knew wore it. So it's quite unisex. I mean, smelling it nowadays, in the way I do with pretty much all CK, perfumes that are supposed to be unisex, with the exception of CK2, I think they all smell slightly masculine to me, but it's so nice to have it in my collection because it's such an old classic. It just reminds me of joyous old days. So let's have a look next at this tiny little babe. So I've had one of the Philosophy Amazing Graces before in this tiny little size. Also, it was a bargain basement one that I got to try. I think it was Amazing Grace Ballet Rose, and I didn't like it. I thought it smelled really sharp, and it just didn't suit me. It didn't get any sweeter on my skin. It just wasn't a rose I particularly enjoyed, and it smelled quite a lot like Yardley Rose. This little baby, another very cute bottle. Look at that. These are both 15ml. Obviously, this is a splash bottle, which the original CK one was, and this is a little spray. So this one, when I sprayed it on card, again, I thought it was a little bit sharp, but this one seems to mesh quite nicely with my skin chemistry, because this one just smells very light, very pretty, girly, floral, very spring-like. And that's pretty much it. It's not strong. It's not like going to project loads. I think this would be much better suited to kind of warm weather. It, when you first spray it, it's a bit sharp because there's bergamot in the top. So the notes here are top notes of bergamot, nectarine, middle notes of magnolia and violet, base notes are musk, driftwood and amber. So yeah, I think on the skin, it starts with a bit of a blast of the kind of sharp fruits, but then the more it dries down, the more you start getting a bit of warmth from the musk and the amber. And then the violet's just pushing this magnolia scent into a different direction for me, because I'm not like mad for magnolia as like a solely note, But this one is charming, and weirdly there's something about it that reminds me a little bit of my Jill Sander Softly Eau de Petals, which is a perfume that I really, really enjoyed when I first got it. But the more I tried to wear it, the more I realised that the ambroxan in it was a bit of a problem for me. So it's quite nice to have another quite pink floral to replace it with, And a little 15ml of this is perfect size for me. So keeping both of those. Now, this is the only one that I'm not keeping. You'll understand why when I tell you what I think it smells like. So Tank by Replay. This had really, really good reviews. Everyone was like, for a cheapie, this smells like really expensive. It smells really good quality. This is an eau de toilette. What were the other two? I think they're all eau de toilette so far. Yes, they're all eau de toilette so far. This is also an eau de toilette. But it's not like a ridiculously light one. It's not a ridiculously quickly kind of disappearing one. This one lasts all right. Okay, yep. So this is Tank. I actually kind of like this bottle. I think it's kind of cool. If you can see, it's got kind of quite a nice colour in here. I mean, it's tacky, right? But I don't know. It's just because it's unusual. I kind of like it. But so that's Tank. And this perfume, let me give you the notes and then I shall try to explain what it smells like. So when you hear the notes, you might already be able to guess what this smells like, because I'm pretty sure it's got very similar notes to the thing it smells like. So top notes here, bitter orange and apple. Middle notes, tuberose, rose and jasmine. Base notes, praline, vanilla, sandalwood and musk. And this one smells like Poison Girl. Yeah, I mean, there's not really much more to say about it than that. It smells like Poison Girl. Now, I'm not massively fussed about Poison Girl. I don't despise it, but I don't really like... If I kind of smell it from far away, if I wear something that smells like it. So I liked Poison Girl and expected much more because I liked the ginger in the top. But again, it just dries down to smell a bit like the original Poison Girl. I have the La Rive dupe, which has a cherry note in it that kind of... So it still smells like Poison Girl, but it isn't exactly like a exact dupe of it because it's got that kind of nice cherry in it. But again, there's something about that particular profile where I find the sharp fruits with the sweet, in this case praline or vanilla or caramel, whatever it is in the bottom that is sweet. I don't find that they blend well. I feel like they smell very separate to me. Like the sharp acidic fruit is sitting on top of the sweet base and they're not blended. They're not working together. And I find that with anything that smells anything like Poison Girl or anything like Wanted Girl by Azzaro. I mean, that one is even more nightmarish to me because that has such a strong patchouli in it. But the general kind of sharp fruits with super sweet base, I just can't abide how those things smell together. But what I have to say is that out of all of the ones I smell that are a bit like Poison Girl, with the exception of actual very expensive Poison Girl, I think this might be the best one. I think this smells a lot like Poison Girl. It's closest to being well blended. I mean, I say it's the best one. I think what I mean is this is definitely on par with the La Rive, but the La Rive doesn't smell exactly the same as Poison Girl because of that cherry note, whereas I think this one is a closer match to Poison Girl, but it's really cheap, and I think it smells like it's one of those ones that when I tried it on my skin, if I got a whiff of myself, I'd be like, I smell really nice. If my arm got too close to me, it's too sharp. I don't like those sharp notes sitting on top. So I'm not going to keep this one. I'll pass it on. But I think if you like Poison Girl and you're on a budget, then I reckon that Tank, the original Tank for her, I think this is a really safe bet. I think that you might enjoy this one. I think it's actually, for the price, I think it's actually quite a nice perfume. You know, it's just not a profile that I like. So then we have Riri by Rihanna. I've been looking at this one and Kiss. I think these might be her first perfumes. I think these might be before the Rebel ones. Quite possibly, that's probably why they're a bit cheap. I'm wearing this today. So, yeah, I'm just going to give myself a quick spray because it's so pretty. I like this and I'm keeping it. And what's interesting to me about this Riri, firstly, it's a completely clear juice, and I'm pretty sure that on all the pictures I've seen it's supposed to be pink, but you know, whatever. I'm not gonna fuss about it. So Riri, yeah, like even here in the pictures it's pink, which is, maybe it used to be pink and then they stopped dyeing it because it doesn't smell pink. What it does smell like a little bit is this kind of thing, but in a way that I find much easier to wear. So the notes here are passion fruit, rum, mandarin orange and cassis in the top, middle notes of honeysuckle, pink freesia, jasmine and orange blossom in the mid, base notes of vanilla, musk, cyan benzoin and sandalwood. Now this one, when you first spray it, it does have that sharp passion fruit, but there's something about the richness of that rum and the florals that I think are leaning quite kind of sweet. When it dries down, it's got a lovely vanilla scent to it. And I would describe this perfume as a passion fruit, rum and vanilla. I think it dries down to a really nice, soft, kind of edible, slightly custardy vanilla. It's not like a perfumey vanilla, which is the kind of vanilla that I just don't like. And the passion fruit is really tempered by all the sweet notes quite quickly. And I feel like it's blended well enough that I don't find it jarring the way that I do kind of the Poison Girl and Wanted Girl kind of sense. I just think this is really easy to wear, really pretty. Some of the things it's been compared to, like Love Don't Be Shy, I don't think it smells like that at all. Yeah, I really don't get that vibe, and I think that's because like Love Don't Be Shy, you know, you've got to have that kind of neroli kind of vibe going on to really, and marshmallowy vibe, and this doesn't have any of that. It's not really powdery. It's just really, it's slightly sweet, quite rich, fruity, but it's also quite light. It's not the longest lasting, sadly, but it's really nice. I really like this one. I'm enjoying wearing it. I would have been happy to actually get quite a big bottle because I think you probably would want to overspray this quite a lot. You'd want it to hit your clothes and you'd probably have to reapply it. So, yeah, I mean, I just think this is actually a really pretty perfume, and I'm really glad that I like this one because I was really hoping to like this from the reviews, and when I realised it smelled like Poison Girl and then I tried it on my skin, I was really hoping that I would still enjoy the general scent of it, or that it might be more of a kind of Poison Girl dupe that for some reason just worked better with my skin chemistry or maybe blended better, but it's quite similar to Poison Girl, so it didn't work. Whereas Riri, it does give me that same feeling, but without making me feel uncomfortable. I find it quite cozy. I think it's quite pretty. And I think it's quite a safe blind buy if you like a kind of slightly edible vanilla, if you like passion fruit, and if you like rich rum kind of smells, but not horrifically boozy by any means. It doesn't have that kind of slightly acrid kind of sometimes alcohol-y, you know, vodka-y kind of smell to it, you know. It's a lovely rich rum. It's really nice. Yeah, I quite like this one, so it's made me even more interested in getting the Kiss one. There's another one as well, I can't remember what it's, the one's called Crush, but I think that one's got quite a lot of patchouli in it from what I've read and from the notes, so that one's not going to be up my street. But I do think that I might have to try Kiss at some point if I can get like a cheap bottle of it. But yeah, I don't know why this isn't pink. I'm not sure why that's not pink, but whatever. Now, this last one, this was a suggestion from Amanda in my comments on one of my other videos. It was on the video about Amir Al Oud, and she had mentioned some other things that gave her that kind of by the fireplace vibe that weren't actually by the fireplace, because she doesn't like, she gets the same problem as I do, which is that kind of tar like weird smell, or like at least there's certain types of synthetic woods that don't work for her. So this is one of the ones that she said it doesn't actually smell like by the fireplace, but it gives her that same kind of feeling. And then when I looked online at the reviews, just going to spray it on some paper real quick. Someone else had said that it reminded them by the fireplace as well. Now, I find all this very interesting, because I think the last thing that I get from this is by the fireplace, and it doesn't really particularly remind me of Amir Al Oud either. So this is the bottle. This is FCUK Friction Night for her. I'm going to try and put this in the centre. Let's move things around a little bit. Let's just move it all around, because this is the big boy. So, I mean, firstly, what I'll say is that I really, really like the original Friction for Her bottle, because that's the one that's got the kind of nudie colour top and then the clear nudie kind of glass, it's like a really pretty kind of beigey nude colour, and I always think that reminds me of ice cream, and I think it smells a bit like ice cream. This one, I really do, I think this bottle isn't very nice. I think it's a bit of a shame. I think they should have done this kind of metallic kind of vibe up on this plastic, and then should have had like a clear purple base. Do you know what I mean? Like actual glass that you could see through. So I think it looks a little bit tacky, but I like this smell a lot, and it smells so different to my nose than when I looked at the notes. I was like, this is never what I would have guessed. And I think I might be the only person in the world who smells this the way that I'm smelling it, which is really weird. But okay, notes. Let me give you the notes. So FCUK Friction Night Her. Top notes: amyris, pepper, bergamot. Middle notes of fig, neroli and jasmine. Base notes of tonka bean, musk and woodsy notes. Now, I am going to have to do a little investigation and find out what amyris is, because I might look that up now. But this smells like violets to me. Like, I've not seen anyone else review this perfume and say that they think it smells like violet, but I get such a violety vibe from it, and possibly that's partly because it's got this purple colour, but I just think it smells like violets. I really think it smells like violets, and I'm wondering why I'm the only person who seems to think that. There are a few reviews of it, and I've not read anyone say that they think it smells like violets. But this specifically, I think this smells so much like my hair when I've washed it with Lush Daddy-O shampoo, which is a purple shampoo that's very heavily violet and citrus scented. And then when I use that, because that one's a bit sharp, I always use Lush Candy Rain conditioner with it, which is like coconut oil, macadamia oil, argan oil. It's like all of the kind of sweet, creamy, nutty, incredibly candy-like sweet smells. And it mixes with the kind of lemon, bergamot, violet, kind of hardcore Parma violet without the sugar smell, and it gives like a really specific kind of slightly nutty, very sweet Parma violet kind of scent. And that's kind of what I think this perfume smells like. I just couldn't stop sniffing it. Every time I smelt it, I was like, that smells like my hair when I wash it with my Lush Daddy-O Candy Rain combo. I mean, so I tried it on my skin and I really like it. I can see why this gets quite positive reviews. Initially, when I've looked at this before and I've seen it and I've thought maybe I should try that one. And the reason I haven't tried it is because I was a bit nervous of the jasmine in it and of the woodsy notes in case they had that kind of wood that I don't like, and the neroli, and because I've tried an FCUK, a bright orange one, I can't remember what it was called, and it was it smelled like a kind of orangey mangoey syrup or something, but the wood in that definitely had that kind of pencily, I can't remember if it was pencil shavings or tar, but it was one of those synthetic wood smells that I didn't like. So I was a bit worried, and that's why I'd never tried this. But when Amanda recommended it, I thought, right, I'm going to give this a try. I'm going to see what I think about it. And it's just so pretty. I really like it. I'm going to click on Amyris now and see what it is. Woods and mosses. Piney balsamic fragrance with a citrus nuance. That's probably why, when it's mixed with the fig and probably the neroli, it's probably why I'm getting a slightly violety smell. I don't know, but it's really pretty, this. I could not stop smelling it. I loved it on my arm. The more it dried down, the more the tonka bean came through. I do get a sense of that fig. It definitely smells purple to me. It's in exactly the right colour bottle, in the same way that the original Friction is in exactly the right colour bottle for that kind of custardy, ice creamy smell that you get from that one. But I thank you very much, Amanda, because I really like this perfume. This was a really good recommendation. It was a bargain, and I think this is 100ml. This is 100. Oh, this is an eau de parfum. Yeah, and this is 100ml, and it was like £10. And I am really looking forward to wearing this one. I could smell it when I walked into my room this morning when I'd sprayed it in the box last night. So I'm really into it. I think this would be a really good evening perfume. I think there's something sultry and warm about it. It's quite foxy. I mean, I'd say because of that kind of balsamic-y, piney vibe, it is ever so slightly mature smelling to me, but not in a bad way and not like in a vintage way. But I think it smells quite grown up, but it doesn't smell grown up in the way that a lot of grown up perfumes do, because like they've got loads of oak moss or they've got loads of patchouli, you know. It's like, I'd say this one's quite easy to wear, but it gets sweeter as it dries down. That tonka bean really, really comes forward. There's a lot of warmth, clearly from that amyris, but also from that pepper, but it's not massively peppery. But yeah, I mean, anyone else who has this, if you get a violet vibe, can you tell me? Because I don't know if I'm just insane. And I don't know whether my nose is just like playing tricks on me. But yeah, I think this is a good one. I really like this perfume. I would happily recommend it. And it's really exciting when I get recommendations that I try out and I actually really like them. This is definitely staying with me. I'm definitely going to have to do a bit of a mega declutter soon, because I just don't, I mean, I'd have room for all the perfumes that I've got, but absolutely lovely, really chuffed about it. So yeah, that's a really nice one. Let me know what you think. But this was my little haul. I'll have another haul for you quite soon, because I did a couple of after Christmas little bargain hauls of cheapies. So I will film the next one when it actually arrives. I haven't got it yet, but this one came through really quick. Beauty Scent were super snappy about getting this to me, and it was an absolute bargain. I think if you spend over £40, and this was just I think over £40, if you spend £40 then you get free shipping if you're in the UK as well, so like absolute bargain. But yeah, let me know if you guys have any of these and what you think about them. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed.